Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. So just a few days ago now, we got the Wintersday patch, and with that, there are a bunch of new things to do. Just like with Halloween, there are a few instance areas we can go to earn the special currency of the season, which this time is Wintersday gifts. If you recall, back during Halloween, we would get trick-or-treat bags, and this is basically just the same equivalent, and instead of candy corn, we now get snowflakes. Unlike Halloween though, this time we're going to be going to the human capital city of Divinity's Reach. And not the entire Divinity's Reach either, just a small section that essentially has a snow machine that has kind of winterized one part of the city. To get to that part of the city, you just need to head to the Crown Pavilion waypoint in Divinity's Reach. Once you get there, you should see the snowy region I was talking about, and on your map, you should see a bunch of swirly peppermint icons that you can then go to, and each one of these is going to tie to pretty much everything there is to do for this event. Just like with Halloween, we have a jumping puzzle, but this time it's a little more Christmas themed in that you'll be jumping on snowflakes and more swirly peppermint things. I believe this was a change from prior years, but it looks like there are now 3 difficulty levels for this jumping puzzle, the easiest being all the way on the right, and as you move to the left, it gets a little bit harder. Now, regardless of the difficulty you start at, all these paths do converge, and you're basically going to be doing the same ending regardless. I didn't find this jumping puzzle to be too difficult, especially because the most recent was that Mad Clock Tower, but it was still pretty fun to explore each difficulty level, and there's something about dodging giant snow boulders and jumping into a giant present that was pretty fun. For the more musically inclined, there's another activity called the Bell Choir. Basically, upon entering, you're going to pick which range of notes, so high, middle, or low notes you'd like to play. And then the event itself actually plays a lot like Guitar Hero in that there are going to be some colored notes that are going to come down certain paths, and you'll have to activate the correct keys by the time they reach the center. Your skills are turned into each of the notes, so that's how you'll be activating these. I found that the timing was a little hard to get used to at first, but became more fun as I figured it out. And in between individual songs, there's actually a free play mode where you can just mess about if you want to try and play your favorite song on some choir bells. For those of you guys who are into tower defense style games, you should head over to the Toypocalypse. Basically, what you'll be doing here is defending 4 Doliacs that are at the center from a bunch of waves of malfunctioning toys. Now, you won't be able to use your regular skills to damage these guys. Rather, there will be 3 weapons that you can choose from, and each one kind of has its own role. There's a candy cane that's more of a melee weapon. You have a long-ranged sort of sniper, and then you have a pistol that is mostly for stuns. In addition to having to use these skills to do any kind of damage, you won't regenerate health like you normally would. To fill your health bar back up, you can either die, or if you head to the center next to all the Doliacs, you'll get a bit of regeneration while you're standing there. Now, in addition to all of this, there are actually a bunch of small houses, basically toy houses, that you can break down and gather some resources from. You'll either get some scrap material or some snow. If you pick up the scrap material, you'll have 2 new skills, the first of which allows you to place a ballista, and the second skill allows you to make a catapult. If you pick up the snow, your first ability will allow you to make an ice wall, and the second ability will allow you to place a snowman. Additionally, if you take scrap to something you made out of scrap, you can upgrade it up to 2 times, and likewise with the snow. And basically you just need to set up your defenses in hopes that it'll successfully take out each wave of malfunctioning toy. Completing each wave will get you 1 Wintersday gift, and on every odd wave you should see Tox, the Asuran golem that shows up and wreaks havoc on all of your defenses. The only advice I could give for Tox is just make sure to break his break bar as often as possible, and because this mode has no real source of reliable healing, it's a good idea to kind of stay away from him when he's doing any of his spinny arm moves. Very close to where you set up shop and try and defend those Doliacs, there will be a patch of ice, and each time you defeat this golem, there's a chance that a couple of presents might show up there for a few extra Wintersday gifts. Also, I'm not entirely sure what makes hay spawn, but if you do find some hay, you can pick that up and take it to the Duliacs to replenish a little bit of their health. This isn't going to be like a full heal, but you're trying to survive about 10 waves before this event ends, so just something to keep in mind. If you like the map of the Toypocalypse, but you're looking for more of a mini dungeon experience where you can use your own skills, enter Tix's Infinarium. This instance is the same exact map as the Toypocalypse, only now it's more of a mini dungeon that has a little bit of story. This is up to 2 players, and I might even recommend taking that second player, as doing it solo is kind of painful with how many malfunctioning toys rush you at a time. The last of the larger and more obvious activities to do on Wintersday is the Snowball Mayhem. Participating will put you into a PvP instance where you'll meet with a snowman who will let you pick a class. That's right, a class. You'll be picking between Heavy Gunner, Scout, and Supporter. Now, I typically have just played as Scout for most of this gameplay, and that's where I had most of my fun, but it seems like you're going to need a good balance of classes if you really want to win these. Each class is going to have its own unique abilities for this event, but your 6th ability is actually dependent on the class you entered with. The objective here is just to kill enemy players, obviously, and that'll get you a few points, but also there will be a present that spawns, and you just need to pick that present up and take it back to your base before the enemy team does. The first team to reach 500 points wins, and you'll earn some Wintersday gifts from this as well. Back at the Crown Pavilion, you may notice every now and again there are now mount races taking place in Divinity's Reach, and there's actually an achievement for completing this race in under 5 minutes on foot, which I thought was pretty fun. Also at the Crown Pavilion, there are a few NPCs looking for some donations that you can use to complete events, as well as complete a few achievements. There's also an event with a Duliac you need to defend from some Skrit. These Skrit actually appear as green NPCs, so it might be a little confusing at first. You can use snowballs to take these guys out, but in my experience with it so far, it's much easier to run up to them and press F to knock them down and keep them away from the Duliac, even though it's probably more fun to hit a Skrit in the face with a snowball. Right down the stairs from the Crown Pavilion waypoint, there is a vendor that you can get all sorts of fun stuff from. You may not be able to see this vendor as it's been kind of flooded with people ever since this went live, but this vendor is actually where you can get some of the cooler loot that came along with this patch. Right at the top, you should see an unlock for Winter's Presents collection. This is going to require a few items that you're going to get from completing enough of those activities I mentioned earlier, but also through a bit of crafting. The end result is going to unlock a shoulder skin, which will actually replace your shoulders, meaning your shoulders will now be invisible with a snowy aura. Basically, it just makes it look like it's snowing wherever you are. Below that, you'll see some wrapped gifts, and those can actually be given to orphans as part of a collection. I won't really be covering collections or crafting in this video, but depending on how much I get accomplished, I might be able to get 1 or 2 videos out on that before this event actually ends. On the second tab, you can buy a couple of weapon skins for some karma. These are pretty basic Wintersday skins, and also double as a currency to get those wrapped gifts back on the first page. On the third tab, you can unlock an enchanted snowball. Using this will turn your character into a snowball, and if you look just below that, you can actually unlock colors to turn the snow. I probably won't buy this for myself, but I guess I see the appeal. The fourth tab is going to give you a few recipes that you can pick up, one of which is actually an ascended version of the Giver's insignia and inscription. I believe this is the first time you can get Giver's stats in the ascended quality, but I'm not sure. Just down from that, you can see the ascended Giftbringer's insignia and inscription, and this is actually a new stat combination: expertise, vitality, and precision. Now, I'm not sure what this will be used for, if anything, but if it's something you'd like to play around with, hey, now you know where it's at. The 5th tab down has a bunch of stuff locked at first, but actually the way this works is the first option allows you to spend karma to buy some Wintersday gifts, but after you buy so many gifts for that price, the next tier unlocks, and so on. Each successive tier costing more than the previous, but hey, if you have a lot of karma to waste, this isn't a bad way to get a few Wintersday presents. On the last tab, you can actually convert 1,000 of those snowflakes into 1 snow diamond. Think of snow diamonds as kind of the candy corn cob from Halloween. These can be used to purchase things from this vendor as well as a crafting material, and below that you can actually just convert some of the older snowflakes from previous years of Wintersday into the new snowflake that was added with this patch. So I'm gonna go ahead and openly apologize for how many times I'm gonna compare this to Halloween, but I'm not really familiar with this, so Halloween is kind of what I have to go on. With that being said, just like with Halloween, we have a new daily to complete, and by completing 5 of these, you're going to get 1 new weapon skin. Now I'll show these weapon skins here. I'm not personally gonna go for these, but essentially it's 1 of each weapon as if that weapon had been wrapped up like a gift. It's a cool idea, but it's just not for me. And that, guys, pretty much wraps up the bulk of the activities to do this Wintersday. As I said before, if I can complete some of this other stuff and get a video up before this event ends, I will cover some of the collections and crafting that is associated with this event. But if you guys happen across this video and this is your first Wintersday, let me know what activity you found the most fun. Right now, for me, it's gotta be Snowball Mayhem, as it's a little bit of PvP without having to know every class in the game, which is pretty much what prevents me from playing PvP. But yeah, guys, what did you find the most fun, or what rewards are you going to be going for this time around? But anyway, guys, I hope this helps somebody out there, especially if this is your first Wintersday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh yeah, and there were also some new mount skins.